All right, today I'm going to give you 7 clues that the Lord is calling you. 7 clues. Now, there could be more, but these are 7 of the main clues that I want to share with you. Now, what does it mean to be called? Well, to be called means that you are called out of darkness. And what is darkness? Darkness is a world without God. Okay. So we want to be called. We want to be called. And those of us that are believers are called out. We are called out of darkness. So as I'm sharing these with you, just, reflect on these things that I mentioned, and they may resonate with you and they may not. All right. Now, consider 1 Peter 2:9. There it reads, "But ye are a chosen people, a royal priesthood, a holy nation, God's special possession, that you may declare the praises of him who called you out of darkness into his wonderful light." Okay, so we are called, and we are called out of darkness. And if you are called, one clue that you are called may be that you are a person of faith. Wow, that's an important one. To be a person of faith means that you believe that God exists, that he is, and that he's a good God and a rewarder. So, if you are a person of faith, then you are called. Number 2, you are willing to invite Jesus in. You see, when we are living in darkness, we are all broken. We're all broken. And once we realize that, we seek God's comfort, and we want him to help us in those times that we are broken. And we want him to heal us. So it could be that you are very aware and you have invited the Lord in. And that invitation is because you know that he has something to offer you that you cannot do for yourself. So that's number 2. You are willing to invite. Number 3. Maybe you have witnessed God's grace. So you may have witnessed God's grace in your own life or in the life of someone else that you know. Well, what is God's grace? God's grace is his favor. In other words, if you know people that have beat the odds, and I don't mean that they are gambling, I mean that their life, that some aspect of their life was so challenging that they were not expected to live in victory. And yet they are. That's a clue. That's a clue for you that you are called. Because even if it wasn't you, you have witnessed that. You have witnessed that revelation in God's grace. And so that may be that you are called. Another clue, number 4, is that you might start running into believers. Just random, but not so random. You see, the Lord works in his believers, in his people, and his spirit lives in us. And that spirit guides us to where we should be. And sometimes that means that we should be in your path. And maybe that's why you're here right now, is that you have been led here by the Spirit. And I have been led here by the Spirit to share these things with you. So that is number 4. You run into believers. You are searching for purpose in your life. That is a very good indication that God is calling you. because you know you exist for a reason. You have a desire to know your purpose, and you are driven to seek and search for God. And that is what you are doing to answer God's call for you. Now, that's number 5. So number 6. Number 6 is that maybe you're facing a profound dilemma in your life. Sometimes we can find ourselves in very grievous situations with nowhere to turn. And yet, God has made a way. God has made a way. And that is surely very profound. And if that's you, then that may be a clue that God is calling you. Number 7. Maybe you just want to do what is right. Perhaps you have seen God change the lives of others. You have seen his impact on others, and you see them go from living lives that are harsh and have no godliness to them, to all of a sudden becoming godly, maybe even teaching the word of God. And that has impacted you. Now you have become curious if he can change your life too. So those are 7 ways, 7 clues that the Lord is calling you out of God.